Nice morning for every one of you. Today we start with Act 3, Scene 1. In Act 1 and 2, the atmosphere of the play, the characters, some of the events are revealed to us, and we know full well from the two scenes what the conflict is going to be about, between whom and whom. Now we are ascending the climax. Ascending the climax. In chapter 3, there is a climax. Climax, the summit of the conflict, the highest point of the conflict, the highest point of the conflict, If I drew ascending movement, we'll summit here. The summit is here. The climax here. Then yes, till we reach the final end. This is a chart. Okay? I want to remind you of the king's plot or plan, let us say plan up till now. He brought two of Hamlet's childhood friends and convinced them to draw Hamlet from his mental disorder and make him indulge in entertainments. Indulge, ينغمس, indulge, engage, ينغمس. ينغمس في الانترتينمنتس in order to help him get rid of his mental disorder. The king appears or seems to be lenient, friendly, fatherly figure to Hamlet. I said seems. He keeps using nice words, polite words, kind words with Hamlet. Hamlet's two friends worked hard in order to entertain him and to draw him from his mental disorder. But he welcomed them and he did not reveal his secrets to them. This is part of his shrewdness, fitna, cleverness. Because he knew that the king might employ, might hire, might convince, or might have convinced these two young men to approach Hamlet with a mission in their minds, the mission he entrusted them with, to get or to discover and disclose Hamlet's real motives or real sufferings. The words here are very significant and illustrative. With Act 3, Scene 1, enter the king on the stage, alongside with the queen and Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz. Ophelia is supposed to be Hamlet's love, and she is Polonius's daughter. Rosencrantz is one of his friends, and Guildenstein, these are the two friends whom King Claudius King Claudius wanted to employ them, to engage them in a plan to draw Hamlet out of his melancholy. This is seemingly done, but the real motives of the king is to know for sure what is Hamlet planning. How did I conclude this? The first line is very important. The first line of the scene is very important. King says, and can you by no drift of conference get him why he puts on this confusion? Drift of conference means drift. A drift of conference means course of talk. Course of talk. Weren't you able to shift your course of talk in such a manner that could draw Hamlet to tell you the truth, the real reasons why he is suffering? Take from him why he puts on this confusion. The word put. This means that the king genuinely disbelieves in Hamlet's madness. He believes that Hamlet feigns madness. يضع. The words are quite illustrative. Puts on this confusion. Confusion means mental disorder. Confusion, mental disorder. To him, this is not real madness. It's true. This tells us that the king is intelligent, is shrewd, is cunning, and a resourceful person. محنك, a resourceful person. Who can't be deceived by appearances. Appearances can't deceive Claudius. Grating so harshly all his days of quiet. Great means fret, irritate. That grate, that annoy, that fret, that irritate, so harshly all his days of quiet. الهدوء. حياته الهادئة راحت, no longer. With turbulent and dangerous lunacy. Madness. This confusion irritates, frets Hamlet's quietness by giving him turbulent and dangerous lunacy. Through turbulent and dangerous lunacy. Lunacy here is being described as turbulent and dangerous. Dangerous is easy to know, but turbulent means troublesome or causes trouble. Causes trouble. Trouble to him and trouble to others, and dangerous for others. Rosenkreuz, he doesn't confess he feels him. He does confess he feels himself distracted. This is very important. He confesses that he is distracted. The king uses the word madness, lunacy, but these two young men speak of distraction. Distraction. التشتت الانتباه. الاضطراب أو تشتت. الاضطراب أو التشتت. He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause I will by no means speak. But he will not, he is reluctant to speak about the real causes of his mental state. Though he confesses that he is not normal, but he wouldn't tell those two people who are spying on him any information about the real causes of his distraction. Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof. Crafty madness. كمان شوف كلمة كده. Crafty. Crafty. Crafty, not real. Whenever we ask him about his real causes or reasons for his madness, he answers using crafty madness. Keeps aloof. He escapes these questions by pretending to be mad. When we would bring him on to some confession, when we wanted to bring him to confess for us of his true state, he would leave us in a state of feigned madness. Did he receive you well? Says the queen. Most like a gentleman. He received us like a gentleman does with his guests, but much forcing of his disposition. Yes, he forces himself to welcome us. He doesn't welcome them, or he didn't welcome them naturally, normally, but he forced himself, أجبر نفسه, forced himself to welcome them because they are his guests. Niggard of questions. He is so niggardly, بخيل في الأسئلة, but of our demands most free in his reply. But whenever we ask for demands from him, he was generous to give us our demands. The queen says, did you assay him to any pastime? Assay means challenge. Assay means challenge. Did you assay him to any pastime? Pastime means leisure, entertainment, time for entertainment. Time for entertainment. Entertainment. Did you invite him for entertainment? Madam, it so fell out. Fell out means happened. Fell out means happened. It happened. تصادف. 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 It happened that certain players we overwrote. Overwrote means overwrote means overtook. لحقنا بهم. لحقنا بهم. مجموعة من الممثلين لحقناهم تعديناهم on the way، تعديناهم في طريقنا، يعني تعديناهم في طريقنا. Of these we told him of these players, and there did seem in him a kind of joy. He was pleased to hear of the players coming to the castle, to the court. And there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court, they are in the court, and as I think, they have already ordered this night to play before him. They are scheduled to play a play or to act a play in front of the king, in front of Hamlet. This is not new for you. The fact that Hamlet planned to make a play that is the events of which resemble the act of killing of his father by his uncle. It's most true, and he besieged me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter. The matter here means the play. Matter means here the play. He entreated us, the play. He wanted me, he entreated us, he begged us earnestly to convince you to attend the play, to be the play, or the dramatic event he is planning to display in front of the queen and the king. King, with all my heart, kind language, with all my heart, and it doth much content me. Content me, here content means satisfy. Please, content me, يرضيني, content me to hear him so inclined, that he was so inclined, so prepared. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge. Edge means motive. Wet or sharpen. يشحذ. اشحذوا همته ورغبته. Give him a further edge and drive his purpose into these delights. Delights means entertainments. يعني involve him, plunge or involve him in entertainments. اغمسوه في مثل هذه الأنشطة ومثل هذه الانترتينمنتس. The king's language reveals a very shrewd king, a very scheming one, a very intelligent one, a very knowledgeable one. We shall, my lord. Now he asks his wife Gertrude and tells her, leave us two, leave us two. Now the king speaks, tells her, why? Because, leave us Gertrude, leave us two, because we have closely sent for Hamlet. Closely means secretly. Closely means secretly. Sent for the king, for Hamlet. For Hamlet, hither. Hither here. Hither means here. Hither, to come here. Here. We sent for him secretly to come here, or indirectly to come here, that he, as it were by accident, as it were by chance. طبعا it wasn't a chance, it was premeditated, it was planned that Hamlet would meet Ophelia here, while her father and the king are hiding themselves behind a curtain, behind an arras. Twere by accident may here affront Ophelia. Affront means confront or meet Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful spies. Spies means spies. Spies means spies. We are lawful spies because we are doing what we are doing for the benefit of Hamlet, not to harm him. نحن جواسيس لكن شرعيين. I am his king and uncle, and I want to make him a favor, to do him a favor. I want to help him, to help him get rid of this melancholy he is experiencing. This is seemingly true. He is interested in knowing the fact why Hamlet is feigning madness. He wanted to know for sure whether Hamlet knew something about the crime Claudius committed against Hamlet's father, namely killing him by using poison. We'll so best to ourselves that seeing unseen, seeing him, we see him while we are unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, evaluate, truly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved from his behavior, and understand from his behavior if it be the affliction of his love or no. The king wants to know whether Polonius's appraisal or estimate of Hamlet's madness as being caused by frustration of love, unreciprocated love, حب غير متبادل مع بنته, he became mad as a result of an unreciprocated love. The king, as appears now, right now, is not convinced of the recount of Polonius's story. He wants to know for himself, for sure. He wants to know he wants to get first-hand knowledge, معرفة مباشرة, that whether for sure Hamlet was experiencing frustration in love and this frustration in love made him mad, or whether he is feigning madness, or whether he is mad due or for unknown reasons. He wants to discover the real, genuine reasons why Hamlet is mad or feigning madness. Once more again, I draw your attention to the character of the king. The king is not easily deceived. The king is shrewd, is wise, can't be deceived by other people. And what is good about his personality is he wants to know for himself and by himself. If it be the affliction of love or no, whether his madness was caused by love or by any other reason. I shall obey you, the queen, and for your part, she's addressing herself to Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. I hope that Hamlet is mad just because he loves you, and your beauties drove him mad. If the case is so as Gertrude believes, this is an easy matter, an easy issue, because you can reciprocate love with him, and the whole issue comes to an end. And Hamlet's wildness is restored to calmness. Of Hamlet's wildness, so shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again. Wonted way? Wanted way, usual custom, usual habit. أن يرجع إلى عادته الطبيعية. Your virtues, your beauties might restore him to his normal habit, usual habit. Madam, I wish it may. Polonius speaking to Ophelia. Ophelia, walk out here. Gracious, so please you. Gracious, he addresses himself to the queen. We will bestow ourselves. Read on this. We will bestow ourselves. Read on this book. He gives his daughter a book that show of such an exercise may color. Exercise here means here prayer. A prayer book. He gives her a prayer book. A prayer book may color your loneliness. May color here means justify why you are here alone. You are reciting your prayers, and this is an enough excuse that you are here standing alone, walking alone in the passage or the corridor. We are oft to blame in this. We are often blamed for this. It's too much proved that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do sugar the devil himself. By pretending to be pious, religious people, devoted people, And these feelings appear on our face. As pious, we do sugar the devil himself. We overpower the devil himself. Sugar means overpower here. Overpower. Sugar the devil himself. نتفوق على الشيطان ذاته. يعني نتفوق على الشيطان ذاته. By appearing, by feigning that we are pious, religious men, we can deceive Satan himself. We can deceive Satan himself. Here, King Claudius, listening to Polonius' speech to his daughter, and the way he addressed her, the epitome of the words he cited, he got affected, and in an aside, not soliloquy, in an aside on the stage, he takes an aside on a part of the stage and speaks to himself. It's true. It's too true. It's too true. Feigning piety, feigning religiousness, feigning righteousness helps the ones who do them to overpower the Satan. It's too true. Very true. How smart, alas, that speech doth give my conscience. Conscience. Has two meanings here. الضمير يعني moral judgment. The other meaning is consciousness. Knowledge. The two meanings can be played on here. Lash means whip. يجلد بالصوت. يجلد مستخدما الصوت. Whip my conscience. Rouses or awakens his conscience. بصحي ضميره. Pricks of conscience. He awakes the pricks of conscience, the pangs of conscience in Claudius. Now Claudius confesses publicly that he has done a very heinous crime. This is very important because it tells the audience, it tells the readership, the readers, that for sure Hamlet, that the ghost has told Hamlet the truth, the utter truth. The ghost wasn't telling lies. The ghost wasn't telling lies, was telling the truth to Hamlet. How smart, alas, that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautified with plastering art. The harlot means the prostitute. Harlot means prostitute. العاهرة، حتى العاهرة، أنا آسف أقول الكلمة بس I want you to know this word. حتى العاهرة. When she paints her face with rouge, with cosmetics, beautifies herself. قديش شعره بالأسى، قديش شعره بالألم، بشبه حاله لبروستيتيوت who painted her face, who beautified her face by using cosmetics, by using cosmetics. Harlot chic beautified with the plastering art is not more ugly to the thing that helps it. She is more ugly. She is more ugly. She beautifies her ugliness by using cosmetics. And he likens himself to the harlot, to a harlot. I am not better than a harlot putting cosmetics on her face. That then is my deed to my most painted words. My deeds bear a similar relationship to my words. Words is very much like my fine words, my beautiful words are very much like the cosmetics a harlot puts on her face. You see, oh, heavy burden. Nobody is supposed to be hearing the king, diru balko. Nobody. This is for the readership, but the audience. Nobody on the stage is supposed to be hearing the king in his confession. Oh, heavy burden. Polonius, I hear him coming. Let us withdraw, my lord. Let us hide behind the arras. This is the most famous soliloquy in the whole play. In the whole play. Hamlet is coming, and he encounters Ophelia, who used to be his love. Who used to be her love. What is Hamlet saying? To be or not to be, that's the question. This is the most famous line of poetry ever written by Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that's the question. To be or not to be, that's the question. أن أكون أو لا أكون، هذه هي القضية. You can read it, several readings. You can understand lots of things from this line of poetry. This shows the calamity of Hamlet. Hamlet's calamity. It is a matter of life and death. It is an existential problem. It is an existential issue. مسألة وجودية. مسألة وجودية. It is an existential matter. To be or not to be, that's the question. The question before me is whether I should kill myself or I should continue to live. This is one interpretation. I am left with a choice either to continue living the way I am living now, bearing my melancholy, bearing my sadness, bearing the ugly aspect of life, or to stop living by killing myself. Some critics believe that Hamlet is mediating committing a suicide. Hamlet is thinking of committing a suicide. Whether it's nobler in the mind to suffer, it is very much nobler for me to suffer in my mind, to suffer, to remain suffering, to stay alive suffering. Suffering what? Yani bearing what? The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Slings, shots. Slings means shots. Shots, طلقات. To forbear, to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous. Outrageous means angry. Arbitrary. معنى ايش؟ المتحكم او الطاغية. tyrant. tyrannical. tyrant. Arbitrary means has no judgment. Arbitrary fortune. Fortune here fortune means fate, or means providence. Yani the superpower. Providence. Here, to Hamlet, fortune is arbitrary, is void of wisdom. متحكمة فينا, not wise enough. Or to take arms against a sea of troubles. Very important word. Or to take arms against a sea of troubles. بحر من المشاكل والمتاعب. بحر يعني شيء كبير. Here Hamlet feels quite, he feels that he is confronting a sea of troubles, a sea of misfortunes, a sea of a supernatural, a power that he can't fight and win. Or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, and by opposing this sea of troubles, in the troubles or in myself. Most probably he is going to lose his life because he is encountering a sea of troubles, many troubles. To die, to sleep. To him, to die is to sleep. Here he equals, or he likens death to sleep. But there is a big difference between both. And he discovers in a few lines later that death is very different from sleep. What is there, but what is common between both is that we have nightmares in death and in sleep. No more. And by asleep to say we end. We can't, by sleeping or by killing ourselves, we can't achieve our end of getting rid of these plights, these calamities, these troubles, this sea of troubles. The heart ache and the 1,000 natural shocks. 1,000 natural shocks. Underline these words. 1,000 natural shocks. Shocks inflicted on us by nature. But thousands of natural shocks. مئات صدمات الطبيعة. That flesh is IR2. The flesh is subject to. عرضة flesh اللحم. subject to عرضة لها. exposed to exposed to. Ayr, هذه معنات ayr. Ayr, subject to. We meet very soon next week to continue with this soliloquy. This is the most important soliloquy in the whole play. Hamlet reveals his plight. Hamlet reveals how he's suffering mentally, physically, and he is facing thousands of natural shocks and a sea of troubles. This sea of troubles he can't avoid because he is naturally, the human body is naturally subject to these plights. Thank you. I hope that you prepare beforehand because Shakespearean language, as I told you from the very beginning, is very difficult. I spent 4 hours preparing this lecture for you. If this means that you need to spend a similar amount of time rereading the whole scene.